The thunder split the sky above the royal arena as the impossible unfolded in front of thousands. Chains around the beast of Kalar shattered as it dropped to its knees before a woman no one could explain. Ayanna stood barefoot in the blood-soaked sand, her arms raised, breathing calm while death itself trembled around her. The beast that had killed the Alpha King Takoda's father now bowed its massive head, as if recognizing her command. Then Takoda rose from his throne, eyes burning with rage and disbelief, and his voice thundered across the arena. "Take her to the royal wing," the Alpha King ordered after she tamed the beast that killed his father. Silence shattered instantly as guards hesitated. Warriors looked at each other, and no one dared move toward her. Ayanna slowly turned her head toward the Alpha King, meeting his golden eyes without fear or submission. Something in his expression shifted, rage mixed with confusion. As the beast behind her exhaled one final peaceful breath, it collapsed completely, not in violence, but in surrender. Takoda stepped down from the throne, his voice low and dangerous as he studied the stranger who had done the impossible. Because in that moment, one question burned to the entire kingdom. How had she tamed the beast that killed his father, and what secret was she hiding? Whispers erupted through the stands as nobles rose from their seats, unable to process what their eyes had just witnessed. Some claimed it was witchcraft. Others swore the beast had been weakened, but none of their explanations matched the truth unfolding in front of them. Takoda's hand tightened around the armrest of his throne as he tried to deny what he was seeing, but the memory of his father's death refused to stay buried beneath rage and pride. Ayanna did not speak. She simply watched the beast's body settle into silence, then slowly lowered her hands, as if releasing something far older than the creature itself, while the entire arena held its breath waiting for what would happen next. And no one moved at all. The royal wing was colder than Ayanna expected, not because of stone or wind, but because of the way silence watched her from every corner. Outside her chamber, guards stood like statues. Inside, she stood alone, yet not untouched. The beast's final breath still echoed in her mind like a memory that did not belong to her. Moments later, the doors opened. Takoda entered. The Alpha King of Kalar did not walk like a ruler who needed approval. He moved like someone used to war obeying him. His presence filled the room before his voice did. "You stood before the beast of Kalar," he said. Ayanna turned slowly. It wasn't standing before me. It was remembering something I didn't understand yet. Takoda stepped closer, his gaze sharp enough to cut through lies. "That beast killed my father." Ayanna didn't flinch. "I know." That answer hit harder than denial, because she didn't sound like someone guessing. She sounded like someone remembering. Takoda's jaw tightened. "Then explain why it obeyed you." Ayanna hesitated for the first time. "It didn't obey me. It recognized me." The room went still. For a moment, even the torches seemed to dim. Takoda studied her face, searching for manipulation, fear, anything human enough to make sense of her words. But what unsettled him most was how calm she remained under his gaze. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. Before she could answer, the doors opened again. A royal messenger entered, kneeling immediately. "My Alpha, the council has issued a seal warning." Takoda took the scroll. The moment his eyes scanned it, his expression hardened. Ayanna noticed a shift instantly. "What does it say?" Takoda didn't answer at first. Then he spoke, voice colder than before. "It says your arrival was predicted." Ayanna's breath caught. "That's impossible." Takoda turned the scroll toward her. A symbol burned into the parchment, an ancient mark she had seen before in fragments of her nightmares. The blood court seal. Her fingers tightened. Takoda noticed. "You recognize it?" Ayanna's voice dropped. "I shouldn't." A heavy silence filled the chamber again, thicker than before. Then Takoda stepped closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "Tell me the truth. Did you come here because of the beast, or because of my father?" Ayanna's eyes flickered with something painful, something buried too deep to surface easily. Before she could respond, a second messenger rushed in, breathless. "My Alpha, the royal archives, they've been altered. Entire sections about King Malar's death are missing." Takoda froze. Ayanna whispered under her breath, almost to herself. "They're erasing him faster than I can speak his name." Takoda turned sharply. "What did you just say?" But Ayana stepped back instead of answering, because in that moment, she realized something even worse than being suspected. Someone in the palace did not just want her dead. They wanted the truth itself to disappear. And the most dangerous part, they already knew she was here. The palace did not sleep that night. It remembered. That was the difference. Takoda stood alone in the war chamber, staring at the sealed message again and again, as if repetition could turn lies into truth. But the words did not change. Your arrival was predicted. Predicted meant planned. Planned meant controlled. And control meant betrayal. Enioto entered without announcement, as always. Calm, measured, loyal in appearance. She should be executed. Enioto said immediately, "The council is growing restless." Takoda didn't look up. The council has been wrong before. Not about threats like her, Enioto replied. That made Takoda finally turn. She didn't attack anyone. She didn't need to, Enioto said softly. She made your beast kneel. That alone is enough to start wars inside the archives, he asked. Enioto paused just long enough to feel unnatural. Internal corruption, nothing more. But Takoda noticed a pause. Outside the war chamber, Ayana stood under guard, but not restrained. She had refused chains. No one had dared force them on her after what happened in the arena. A soldier nearby muttered, "She should have been killed on sight." Ayana looked at him calmly. "Then why wasn't I?" The soldier hesitated. That hesitation was answer enough, because no one knew anymore whether she was prisoner or proof of something the kingdom had been hiding for years. Later, Takoda came to her, not as Alpha King, as a man who could no longer separate anger from curiosity. "You said my father was connected to the beast," he said. Ayana didn't look away this time. "I said he tried to stop what created it." "That's not the same thing," Takoda snapped. "It is when the thing he tried to stop is the reason he died," she replied quietly. That silence hit differently. Takoda stepped closer. "If you know something, tell me everything." Ayana's hands tightened slightly. "And if everything changes what you believe about him?" "I already lost him," Takoda said. "I just want the truth." Ayana hesitated, then nodded. So she showed him, not with words, but with memory fragments triggered by proximity to the beast's residual imprint still echoing in her mind. Images flickered between them like broken glass. A hidden laboratory beneath Kaler. Chains made not of metal, but energy that fed emotion. King Malor arguing with council members. And Enioto standing beside them. Takoda stepped back instantly. "No," he said sharply. "That's impossible." But the images continued. The beast was not created in isolation. It was engineered using royal authority codes, council signatures, and a final authorization seal. Takoda's father's seal. Takoda staggered back as if struck. "That's not real," he said again, but weaker now. Ayana stepped forward gently. "I didn't want to show you like this." Takoda's voice cracked with fury. "My father would never." "Then why does a signature open the chamber where the beast was born?" she asked. The question did not need answer, because the truth was already breathing between them. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the palace. A guard burst into the corridor, bleeding from his arm. "My Alpha, the lower archives on fire. Someone is destroying records right now." Takoda turned instantly. "Who?" The guard hesitated, then whispered, "It's coming from inside the council wing." Takoda's eyes darkened. Inside job, erasure, control, and as he turned back toward Ayana, something shifted in him. Not trust, not yet, but doubt toward everything he had ever been told. Ayana looked at him, voice quieter now. "They're not just hiding the truth, Takoda. They're hunting it." A beat of silence. Then the final blow arrived. A messenger ran in, dropping to his knees. "My Alpha, the council has declared emergency succession protocol." Takoda froze. "That means what?" he demanded. The messenger swallowed hard. "It means they are preparing to name a new Alpha King." Silence collapsed the room, and for the first time in his life, Takoda realized something unbearable. The kingdom was not just questioning Ayana. It was replacing him. The words emergency succession protocol did not echo in Takoda's mind. They detonated. For a moment, The war chamber felt smaller, like the walls were closing into erasing before the kingdom officially did. Ayana watched his expression change. Not fear, not confusion. Something far more dangerous. A realization. They're moving faster than I thought, Takoda said quietly. Ayana stepped forward. Then it's not just about the beast anymore. Takoda turned sharply. It never was. That was when the palace shook. Not from war, but from activation. A deep horn sounded across Kaler, one Ayana had never heard before. Ancient, buried, forbidden. Takoda went pale. The Dominion signal, he whispered. Ayana frowned. What is that? Takoda grabbed his cloak. It means the council has opened the first vault. As they rushed through the corridors, guards avoided eye contact. Some even bowed, not to him, but an unseen authority behind him. Ayana noticed. They're already choosing your replacement, she said. Takoda didn't answer, because now he understood something worse. This wasn't a disagreement. It was a controlled takeover. They reached the underground chamber beneath the council wing, the first vault. Ayana felt it immediately, pressure in the air like memories refusing to die. The massive doors were already open. Inside, the entire council stood in formation, and at the center, Eniato, waiting, smiling. Takoda stopped. You, he said. Eniato bowed slightly. Your timing has always been impressive. Alpha King. Ayana stepped forward. You erased the archives. Eniato tilted his head. Not erased. Curated. Takoda's voice dropped dangerously. Tell me the truth. Eniato gestured around the chamber. You are standing inside the truth. The vault walls lit up, and everything changed. Not memories, not fragments. A full recording system, ancient but alive. King Malor appeared, not as legend, but as a man, alive, arguing with the council. No more experiments, Malor's recorded voice echoed. The beast program ends here. Ayana stiffened. Takoda froze. Eniato's voice cut in softly. He was never killed by the beast. The recording shifted. Malor was restrained, not by monsters, by council guards, by Eniato. Takoda stepped forward violently. What is this? Eniato's calm broke slightly. Truth you were never meant to inherit. The recording continued. Malor struggled. You're betraying the kingdom, he shouted. Eniato leaned closer in the memory. No, he replied. I am saving it from your weakness. Ayana's breath shook. He staged everything. Takoda turned slowly. The beast, my father, the war. Eniato nodded once. The beast was containment. He gestured toward Ayana, and she was integration. Ayana went still. Takoda snapped. Explain. Eniato's eyes darkened. The beast was never meant to kill your father. It was meant to replace him. Silence hit, like a blade. Ayana whispered, replace him with what? Eniato smiled, with control that cannot feel mercy. Takoda's voice shook with fury. You turned him into a weapon. Eniato corrected him calmly. I turned a collapsing kingdom into stability. Ayana stepped forward, shaking. You used me. Eniato looked at her with something almost like admiration. You were the only one who could survive emotional resonance with the beast program. Takoda turned sharply. You experimented on her. Eniato didn't deny it. I refined her. Something inside Takoda snapped. Steel sang as he drew his blade, but the council guards moved instantly, surrounding them, outnumbering them. Eniato raised a hand. Kill the Alpha King, he said calmly, and history will adjust accordingly. Ayana stepped in front of Takoda. No, she said. Eniato sighed. You still think you matter in this system. Ayana's eyes burned. I remember everything you tried to erase. The beast's residual imprint inside her surged. The chamber lights flickered violently. Takoda looked at her. What are you doing? I don't know, she whispered, but I think I'm what you were afraid I'd become. The ground trembled. Memory systems destabilized. The vault began collapsing as Ayana's resonance clashed with Eniato's control network. Eniato frowned for the first time. No, you shouldn't be able to override. Takoda grabbed Ayana's hand. We need to move. But the exits sealed, one by one, locked. Eniato's voice echoed through the chamber. You cannot escape what you are part of. The vault doors shut completely, trapping them. Lights dimmed. Emergency systems failed. And in the darkness, Eniato's final message played through the system. If truth survives, then the kingdom must end. Ayana looked at Takoda. For the first time, no confidence remained in her eyes. Only urgency. We're not just fighting him, she said. We're fighting the system that made both of us. Takoda tightened his grip on his blade. Then we break it. Ayana shook her head. No. She looked around as the vault walls began compressing inward. I think it breaks us first. The chamber shook violently, and above them, Kaler's throne systems fully activated, as if the entire kingdom itself had decided. The Alpha King no longer belonged to it. The vault was collapsing. Stone screamed under pressure as ancient systems activated like a living beast trying to bury the truth forever. Takoda pulled Ayana back as a slab of metal crashed where she had stood seconds earlier. We don't have time, he said sharply. Ayana's eyes stayed locked on the central control pillar, where Eniato's signal still pulsed like a heartbeat. We don't need time, she replied. We need access. Takoda turned to her. Tell me what to do. That was a shift. Not alpha and prisoner, not ruler and suspect, but two people trapped in the same war. Ayana stepped forward despite the collapsing chamber. The beast imprint in me, it still connects to the core system. If I amplify it, I can expose every hidden file in the kingdom. Takoda grabbed her wrist. That could destroy you. She looked at him. I already survived what was meant to erase me, she said quietly. This is just the aftermath. For a moment, Takoda saw it clearly. She was not a weapon. She was the truth they tried to bury. He let go. Do it. Ayana closed her eyes. The air shifted immediately. The beast's resonance inside her awakened fully. Not as rage, but as memory turned into force. The vault lights exploded into motion. Above them, across all of Kaler, hidden systems began activating. In the council chamber, Eniato froze. What is she doing? One council member shouted. Eniato's calm finally cracked. She's opening everything. Across the kingdom, sealed records unlocked. The truth spilled into public view. Screens in the city's squares flickered. King Maler's execution order. The beast program origins. Council signatures. Eniato's involvement. Gasps erupted across Kaler as citizens watched their history rewrite itself in real time. Inside the vault, Eniato activated emergency override. Terminate the system, he ordered. But the guards hesitated, because they were watching too. Their own hands in hidden crimes. Their own names appearing in erased history. Takoda stepped forward into the chaos. Stop, he commanded. For the first time, his voice carried something beyond authority. Clarity. You are all standing in the truth you were afraid to face. The guards lowered their weapons slightly. Eniato turned on him. You think this changes anything? He hissed. Truth doesn't rule kingdoms. Control does. Takoda shook his head. Not anymore. He raised his blade, but did not strike blindly. Instead, he moved toward the control core. Eniato realized too late. You would destroy the system? He snapped. Takoda's voice was steady. No. He looked at Ayana. I would rebuild it. Ayana nodded, understanding immediately. She redirected the beast's resonance. Instead of destruction, she funneled it into purification protocols hidden beneath the system layers. Code Maler once designed but never activated. Eniato rushed forward. You cannot rewrite order. Takoda intercepted him. Steel clashed. Not a battle of strength, but of ideology. Eniato struck fiercely. You are nothing without the system. Takoda blocked. Then I will become something else. With one final movement, Takoda disarmed him. Eniato stumbled back, shocked. You would abandon your throne? Takoda looked at him coldly. I would abandon a poisoned throne. Ayana activated the final purge. The system responded. Eniato's control network collapsed instantly. His influence over the council broke. His commands reversed. Guards turned on him, not in rage, but in awakening. Enioto was restrained. For the first time, he looked uncertain. "You think this ends corruption?" he said, almost quietly. Takoda stepped forward. "No," he replied, "but it ends you." The vault system stabilized. The collapse stopped. Silence returned like a heavy breath, finally released. Across Kaler, the broadcast ended. But nothing returned to how it was. People remembered everything. Ayana collapsed slightly, exhausted. Takoda caught her immediately. "You did it," he said softly. She shook her head. "We did it." He looked at her for a long moment. Then the final question surfaced between them, the one neither had fully faced. After everything, after truth, after destruction, what remained? Takoda stepped closer. "You saved my kingdom," he said. Ayana met his eyes. "And you chose truth over your crown." Silence. Then he asked quietly, "Now what happens to us?" The vault doors finally opened. Light poured in. Freedom beyond collapse. Ayana looked at him for a long moment, and for the first time, there was no fear in her voice. Only choice. "I don't know who I was before this," she said, "but I know who I am now." Takoda waited. Ayana stepped closer. "And I know who didn't turn away from me when the truth came out." Takoda exhaled. "So do we end this here?" Ayana shook her head slowly. "No." A pause. Then she said it. "We rebuild it. Together." Takoda nodded once. And for the first time since the beast fell, the Alpha King did not stand alone. The first sunrise after the fall of Enioto did not feel like an ending. It felt like the kingdom learning how to breathe again. Kaler's capital was quiet, but not empty. People filled the streets, not in fear, but in disbelief that silence no longer meant danger. Takoda stood at the edge of the rebuilt council platform, where the first vault had once threatened to erase everything. Ayana stood beside him. No chains, no guards, only presence. Below them, messengers carried restored records through the city. Names returned to families. Truth returned to history. And for the first time, no one had to guess what was real. Takoda looked at Ayana. "We almost destroyed each other," he said quietly. Ayana gave a faint, tired smile. "No, we were built to be used against each other." A pause settled between them. Then Takoda stepped closer. "I rejected the throne as it was," he said, "but I won't reject what it can become." Ayana turned to him fully. "And what is that?" she asked. Takoda did not hesitate. "Something that doesn't survive on lies." Silence stretched, not heavy this time, but soft. Then a royal messenger rushed forward, stopping abruptly at the edge of the platform. "My Alpha," he said breathlessly. "The northern tribes have sent word. They are returning to Kaler after hearing the truth. But—" He hesitated. Takoda narrowed his eyes. "But what?" The messenger swallowed. "They are not coming alone. They say the Blood Court still has surviving branches outside the kingdom, and they are moving toward Kaler now that Enioto is gone." Ayana's expression changed instantly. Takoda stepped forward. "How many?" The messenger's voice dropped. "Enough to start another war." Silence hit again. Takoda looked at Ayana, not as ruler, not as survivor, but as partner in something unfinished. "They're not done with us," he said. Ayana nodded slowly. "No," she replied. A beat. Then she added, "But this time they know we remember everything."